Welcome back to the Castaway Consultants, where we teach future Survivor players how to play the game by critiquing current players. I'm one of your three co-hosts, Derek Kubicek, and today we are going to be looking at Episode 3 of Survivor Season 45, No Man Left Behind. I'm joined tonight in person by two fabulous co-hosts, Ryan Stacy and Josh Wessler.
Hello, hello.
How are you guys doing tonight after that tribal?
It was kind of a pretty boring episode, I thought.
Pretty boring. We're going to keep it light, keep it low until we get into the spoiler section of the episode, but no shortage of entertainment, and there are a couple points where the Castaway Consultants have been proven absolutely unequivocally and 100% right.
Especially Ryan, because of what he thought about last week. Well, I was proven right about last week.
That is not one of the things I was thinking about. I was thinking about general strategy.
You may not have been thinking about it, but it's still true.
Hey, you also said that Brandon could win the game, and I was right about that.
He could have if he had made it to the end.
Yeah, anyone can win the game if they make it to the end.
That is not true.
It's all relative, man.
Bren Browning could not win the game if he made it to the end.
If he was not a crappy person, he could.
Now we're changing people's personalities.
Well, if you're gonna change who Brandon is, you need to change who he is for him to make it to the end of the game.
That is not true.
That is true.
That is false.
It's true.
Absolutely false. Derek is wrong as per usual. No, but this was a great episode.
This was fun. This was a lot of fun.
I almost want to talk about anything and go watch it. Just go watch it.
Yeah, this episode was a roller coaster just because a lot of things were going on and I was not expecting the end result.
Well, I guess it'll be easier to talk about this if we can just get into spoilers. So go watch it. 3, 2, last chance. And yeah, Josh, you had to be nervous for your winner pick for a moment there.
Well, first of all, now that now that we're in the spoilers section, I had zero faith that Lulu was going to be going to Tribal tonight, and you could see that on our rank downs that I had the 3 non-people named Emily from Lulu at the very top of my ranking, so spots 1, 2, and 3. I was very wrong about that tonight, and once they ended up losing the immunity challenge, I thought it was for sure going to be Caleb. I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, I am glad it wasn't too. What ended up happening was very, very fun.
Yeah, and everything else we'll cover as we get to, so how about we just hop right into this episode?
All right, let's go over to the Lulu tribe. Emily thanks everyone for keeping her, which is exactly what you should do. Sabaya's going to give her a shot at the dark back. Again, exactly, you can't keep that. You'll lose the game if you keep that.
Mm-hmm.
You can't swindle advantages from people like that. That's a surefire way to lose. It'll be hilariously ironic when it takes you out later, but if you don't do it, you'll lose the game.
Well, and even so, let's say Emily does go home, there are still post-merge or post-game implications with Caleb and Sean seeing you do that.
Yeah.
Knowing that you can't be trusted.
So, yep, that's fine. That it's not the reason Sabaya's going to lose.
No.
But Emily's going to do the math on the vote. She's like, Jeff only read 2 votes to vote out Brandon. Who didn't vote? And Sabaya's like, I definitely voted.
I think more importantly, Emily asked Sabaya. She didn't ask either Sean or Caleb. She asked specifically Sabaya, Sabaya, did you vote?
We might have gotten the old edit switcheroo. She might have gone down the line. I don't know. Or maybe she recognized one of their handwritings.
I mean, but Caleb did say, and I think it was in confessional, basically the one person that you're not supposed to essentially accuse, you accuse. So I think that's just what she did.
And I was saying, Emily, this is the kind of thing you keep to yourself.
Yeah, keep that in mind. Make a mental note, move on. Somebody didn't have their vote. Somebody's got something.
It's very analyst of her to make an observation out loud for everyone to hear.
Over on Bello, Jake almost pulls a Michael Skupin, and you never want to pull a Michael Skupin.
Anything.
And he's working on the fire, and it seems like he breathes in some smoke, and he almost passes out and almost falls in the fire. He does fall over. That could have been bad.
Yeah, the fire is important. It's not that important.
Yeah, make sure when you're standing up after working on the fire, especially when you're breathing in some smoke, make sure you get up away from the fire. Don't be near enough to fall in, because you don't want to be a Michael Skupin in any way, shape, or form.
He stood up real fast.
Yep. So keep that in mind, but more, that was a big thing in the promo for this episode. It didn't really matter. But Kendra and Jake are finally going to talk when it's apparently the first strategic conversation they've had so far. That is bad on both of their parts. But they get along really well, and they decide to work together. And so Kendra doesn't want Jake out anymore.
It's going to turn into an interesting predicament that kind of spins the needle and lands on Bruce as sort of like a consensus from the women's side of the tribe that, hey, if we do go together, it's going to be Bruce. And they're all like, yeah, probably. You know, they're still weighing their options, but
maybe not.
But maybe not.
And it's not like it's going to matter anymore.
Yeah, nothing's mattered. Nothing is going to matter.
And skip this whole episode. Don't do that.
Over on Reba, Austin and Drew, they're going to go hunting for this idol. They're going to take turns acting as lookout and don't do a great job. Because Dee and Julie walk up on them and see Drew digging for something. And they're like, hey, what you doing? And Drew gets up and just like walks away awkwardly and like panics. Oh, you pay no attention. Don't pay no attention to the 7-foot-tall ginger running away the opposite direction.
Sorry, that was Basile. This is Drew. Drew is back.
What was Basile up to? That was weird.
we got Jekyll and Hyde, we've got Drew, and we got Basile. Basile got caught with his pants down, hand in the cookie jar, all of the above.
Looking like a fool with his pants in the ground.
Yes. That was a deep cut, dude.
But Drew's going to come back. And he and Austin are going to be like, yeah, we saw seafood digging right there, and he gave up, so we decided to dig here. And he's like, BS.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair on all parts. I think it's funny that they set up this whole lookout watchman, this scheme to keep everyone from knowing, but they didn't have like a contingency for if they actually got caught digging. Come on. And honestly, this is exactly how two early 20-year-olds would get caught doing this kind of thing.
You know what you really do here? You have Austin dig. Put Drew up on top of like a tree, like because it's at a fallen tree. Have him stand on top of the tree. Okay, now he's got like a 12-foot tall perch to look around and see anybody wearing red coming.
Red in the jungle? It's unseeable.
Yeah. Like, unless you're colorblind, I think it's going to be okay. So they completely blew this. It's terrible. Not great.
And they were digging for a while. I'm surprised they weren't able to find anything. Spoilers for later in the episode, but
these two never find anything.
And when the thing gets found, it's not like it was super deep.
Nope. So I don't know what the deal was. Just wrong spot, I guess.
What is a pace?
Reward challenge. Lulu is going to win with Reba getting second. And the winning tribe gets to send somebody on a camp raid. Caleb is going to stupidly volunteer. Never volunteer for this.
He says, the tribe elected me. No. We got to see the cut, man. You volunteered.
You volunteered, everybody else was fine with it, they should be.
This is on you.
Bad call from Caleb. But he leaves, and he gets to pick which tribe to steal from. It's going to be Reba. But he also gets a goodwill advantage. I don't really like that name. I'm the restore a vote advantage, which is a much better name, I think, because it says what it is. And basically, he's going to give it to somebody on Reba, and that person can use it to restore their vote for one tribal council if they lose their vote. Very niche, specific opportunity to use that one.
Yeah, you have to first know who has that lost vote, and then actually have the opportunity to play it within the next, few tribal councils. Now, with the information that we get at the end of the episode that they're going to end up swapping here, okay, that changes things a little bit.
Play. That could be fun.
See, and the way he does it is the way that Caleb would do this, because Caleb is playing Survivor. He's playing a very social game, but he's also like playing into production's hand. Like, production wants him to take everyone aside and have a one-on-one conversation to try and figure out what this goes. I think I walk into camp and I just plop it right in the middle of their shelter and go, hey, here's a restore a vote. I don't know who needs it, but I don't really want to do anything with this.
I think you would have to pick someone, because it says like give it to someone, but I don't think it says to do it in private.
Well, yeah, what are they gonna say?
Make rock paper scissors.
Yeah, like hey, rock paper scissors tournament.
There you go.
I don't get first person to step forward. Like I don't care.
Anybody want it?
Yeah. Does anybody want the restore a vote?
Yeah, that's probably the best way to do it. Does anybody want it? Otherwise, I'll pick a number.
Cause chaos on someone else's tribe.
Yeah, that's the way.
Because maybe Austin steps forward and causes chaos, or maybe it's just like,
I don't have a vote. What?
Look, I'm just trying not to be shady with you guys. It already stinks that I'm here to steal gear. Like, I don't want to like break any trust either. Here
maybe
you
if
go.
I'm like Sifu or something, somebody who's not in the majority, maybe take it and then immediately throw it in the fire.
Sure.
Throw it in the fire. Throw everything in the fire.
Yeah, there's a right way to do this on both sides, and Caleb can't throw it in the fire. He can give it to someone, but who he gives it to can pull the old Brad Culpepper, Monica Culpepper, and throw it right in the fire.
The Culpepper.
Yeah, the Culpepper.
So Caleb's going to steal some fishing gear. Not all of it, but some of it. And he wants to meet with everybody individually, and everybody can see right through Caleb. He's like, man, he's such like a schmoozer. He's like a charming salesman type, and we all know it. He's a threat.
Yeah, Cody would have Caleb voted out so fast.
Oh, and that almost, the way that you say that almost has like a negative connotation to it. They're basically saying like, no, this is a great dude. It's like the way that everyone was talking about him. So he's a threat.
Yep.
Like saying like schmoozer, I feel like it's like, ugh, like say like salesman, ew.
But that is the vibe that they were getting. Like, they all came back when they were in congregation. Like, this guy's really charismatic. He's really good, but this is Survivor, and we all like kind of see what that means, right?
I think it's schmoozing. Basically, if you, in my opinion, networking. If you are at a networking event talking to people, you're schmoozing.
There you go. Well, that's true.
Now, I do want to say the way Caleb exits the camp, and I think Ryan might have been taking notes, and he missed a line here, and I really like the way that Caleb sold it. He said, in the event of a tribe swap, I just want to let you know, I'm going to let Lulu know that we're cool with Reba. So if something happens, we can work together. And we have a tribe swap coming up. I wonder if that line will pay dividends, but I also like selling it like that. Hey,
yep,
it can't hurt.
We're connected by this bad thing, but at least we have some goodwill.
Work together, take out Bello.
Yes.
Cool.
And now I know Caleb volunteered for this, but I think that shows that this is the right move to send Caleb. I would just like to toss out that opportunity that we missed to see Emily interact with this tribe. Can you imagine if Emily was here raiding the camp?
That'd be funny. I wish Emily had gone, but yeah, she was smart not to go. But Drew's going to end up telling Caleb about his safety without power advantage. Don't say that. Say you lost your vote. You don't know this guy.
And this was the thing that we were like, we were almost like championing him for being so public with it to his own tribe.
This is a different guy.
That is so completely different than this.
Because Caleb's going to straight up ask him about his adventure. And so Drew's be like, yeah, I lost my vote. Or I didn't play the game. Or something. Instead he tells him about the advantage. Now, it is going to give Drew the restore vote advantage. This gets Caleb to give it to him, but no, that was a bad call on Drew's part.
It's no longer a tribe advantage.
Yep.
Now it is information.
Now everybody knows.
And that's a problem.
So Drew gets the advantage. He's going to tell D, Austin, Julie, his alliance about the restore vote advantage to try and earn some trust back. I like that. Especially because it's just like a minimal advantage.
I think, what's that, a Meatloaf song? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah, there you go.
Except he only got like 1 out of 3 today.
Well, maybe 1 out of 3 today, but 2 out of 3 being like he told everyone about the safety without power. He tells them about the restore a vote. He got caught digging. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
And can I say Austin was almost a little too excited about this when he was shown it, especially like in front of like D, because at this point D doesn't know that they have a beware advantage. Yep. He's like, "Oh my gosh, this is huge!" I'm like, "Oh no, dude! Like, cool it down."
Wait, huge for Sifu, who found the beware advantage?
Yeah, right.
Who you caught digging by the palm tree.
If
right?
if I'm D standing right next to him, just like, huh. Interesting that you're so excited about this restore a vote.
Now, if it was Emily, she would have actually turned to him and said that.
Yeah.
Interesting that you'd be so excited about a restore a vote.
Speaking of Emily, she's acting way more positive around camp. Everyone really likes her now.
Yep.
So Sabaya, she is now thinking Caleb is too big a threat to keep in the game. He'll win if he gets to the end. She makes a side alliance with Sean, and they bring in Emily with the plan to take out Caleb next. Bruh. No. This is way too early to make that. We are literally on episode 3. Okay, we have a long way to go. This is way too early to be turning on Caleb.
I know we like to talk about Island of the Idols as little as possible, but y'all remember that Chelsea vote in the pre-merge?
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I was so mad at that.
It was like the world's dumbest pre-merge vote out. Like, this is along those lines. Why are you doing this?
If you are in the majority and you want to target a jury threat in your own alliance in the pre-merge, you're an idiot.
Now, are they right with all of this? Yes, absolutely. He is absolutely someone who can win in the end. But so are so many other people on this island.
This is some real David Sampson energy.
It really is.
I'm thinking about the long game, Jeff.
Sabaya's thinking about day 39 on a 26-day season, and that's a problem.
This is terrible. And it's one thing if you were like, I just want to make Emily feel comfortable so she doesn't play a shot in the dark later. That'd be one thing. But that's not what this is.
She's real. This is the truth. Real.
So stupid.
They ain't even lost immunity yet, and they're making these plans.
Just bad. Over on Bello, the girls, they kind of decide like they want to keep Jake around. So Katura's gonna like steer the conversation, like, "Hey, Bruce sucks. Let's get rid of him." So we'll see if that goes. Oh wait, it's not gonna go anywhere because we're gonna swap next week. So See what happens.
Maybe some of these people are on a tribe with Bruce. I'm curious to see if they go to 2 tribes or 3 tribes and how that ends up working. But who knows? Maybe these are seeds that end up being planted for during the swap.
I think it's funny that we're still on this whole seed of vengeance with Katura on Bruce. And by the way, I looked it up this week. I think it's from Guardians of the Galaxy when Drax is like, I've waited a long time for this moment. And then the bad guy in Guardians is like, I don't even know who you are.
Ronan, yeah.
Ronan.
And what is interesting is, speaking of seeds, Kelly and Brando talk, and they're kind of both scared of Katura, and I'm like, that's my winner pick. Uh-oh, I'm in danger.
Now, granted, that could be a plant for later on, like, Katura is seen as a threat. Maybe she goes deep.
And then she gets voted out.
Could be.
My winner pick.
Or she wins.
Look, all I'm saying is, I think my winner pick is in trouble. So, over on Reba, Austin sort of comes clean to Julie and Dee. He's like, yeah, last night, I found the Beware advantage. And that's why we were digging. And Drew's like, yeah, I just said the Sifu thing because it wasn't my advantage, not my secret to tell. So, yeah, we got to go find this thing. So they go looking. And eventually the guys give up. But Dee and Julie keep looking. And they find a rope which is attached to a hammer. And a hammer tells them to break a rock out by the well. Jay walks up to join them. I'm like, oh, hey guys, how's it going? And Julie leaves, and in just the wacky series of events, manages to hand the hammer off to Austin and Drew. They go break the rock and get the idol. It's just like, geez, this is complicated to get an idol on. And I love that it's hard to get the idol. Here's where I potentially have, an issue. It turns out this idol is only good for one tribal council. If you sacrifice your vote at that tribal council, though, you can extend it to, the merge or the mergatory situation where everybody's living together. And if you sacrifice it for your vote for the next 2 tribal councils, it's a fully powered idol, good for the final 5. Okay, so we have these really complicated, hard to find idols. Great. Do we really need all this extra stuff too? Can it just be a normal idol? Can we do one or the other? This one's really hard to get and it's a full idol. This one's easier to get, but it's not as powerful. Can we do that instead?
I understand where you're going. It's risk reward, right? It was a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of risk to get this for very small reward. That said, I am still a big fan of contingent idols in an advantage-heavy era of Survivor because it keeps slates a little cleaner. It does force some snap decisions, some snap judgments, so I don't mind that. And honestly, especially with forced fire making, I'm glad that idols don't necessarily just swim all the way to the final 5. Now I'm thinking about day 39 on a 26-day season, so I apologize, but I'm okay with it. But I get your point. If you're gonna do the whole clue thing, maybe they deserve the full idol.
It just feels complicated, a little overly complicated.
I loved it. I'm a huge fan of this multi-step just to get a sniff at some safety.
I love it too.
Okay.
I was actually really excited when it ended up happening, just because I don't know, we've gone so far off to the other end here in the new era with advantages that I'm glad they completely went the other direction now.
Or we're swinging back.
Yeah, a little bit.
The pendulum hopefully is coming back center.
And instead of it being swinging back to the point where there's nothing in the game, it's swinging back where it's just maybe a little bit more complicated, but more challenging,
harder to get and less powerful.
Yeah, or there's more, like Jeff likes to say, more risk involved. It's a more dangerous game, Ryan.
So I think we can safely say right now, don't go for anything unless you are in a bad situation. If you're on the bottom, fine. But otherwise, don't go for anything. It's all a trap.
I mean, because you could expose your game and then just have an idol that's only good for one tribal council. Or if you sacrifice your vote, you can get it for longer and nothing bad will happen.
Just remember, this is Admiral Akbar. It's a trap.
They want what happened to Sabaya to happen tonight. They want you to fall for the bait. Everything is a trap. They want you to go out in humiliating fashion.
Oh, so it's best case scenario for them tonight.
Don't go for anything unless you have to. It's all a trap. It's bait. But they're going to tell Dee and Julie about this idol to try and restore some trust. So they all feel pretty good. We're back. The 4 has been repatched together. They're solid. And definitely going to stay together for the next vote.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. We're shuffling.
And I do like that we get some thoughts from both Dee and Julia, we don't really trust these guys, but we're gonna go with them. Or we could have taken this for ourselves, which I think would have been really entertaining, but we just decide not to because it's good to have this 4 together.
If anything else, just read between the lines. It means they don't want to work with Jay and they don't want to work with Sifu.
Yep.
I think that's
really telling.
That speaks volumes, honestly, because you could have immediately gone and found it, made an alliance alliance with Sifu and Jay and just left Drew and Austin out to dry. If Austin doesn't get the idol, I assume he doesn't get his vote back.
Nope.
No way.
So he would be without a vote. They would have the idol that he lost his vote for, and no skin off their nose if they just make a new alliance. So this says a lot about who they like and who they trust.
True hostage.
Immunity challenge. Reba wins. Bello gets second. Lulu is going back to Tribal Council. And I want to say, I called it. Going into the challenge, I'm like, Lulu's going to lose this.
Lulu losers are back.
I just got the vibe, the way Caleb was like, guys, we got this, or whatever. Like, good luck to everybody. The way they focused on Caleb, like, they're going to lose this.
Yeah, and you brought up the old survivor, the one who
Matt
got...
Elrod.
Matt Elrod. Old...
Matt Elrod energy.
Old Redemption Island.
Everyone's favorite season.
Redemption Matt.
Last in my ranking.
Okay, but Matt Elrod's story arc is one of the funniest in Survivor history.
The only good part of that season.
Yes.
So on Lulu, Caleb's says like, oh, okay, I guess it's time for Emily to go. I don't think I can save her. Cool, whatever.
Good gameplay from him. Like, good thought process for now.
And that's if everyone's playing right, Emily should go.
I agree.
Emily should play her. If everyone is playing optimally, Emily plays her shot in the dark, crosses her fingers.
Yes.
But Emily gets voted out.
And this goes back to the really long conversation from last week of, regardless of if you want Emily to be going home or Brandon going home, if you want to fast forward 2 votes, it shouldn't really matter that much, just because you should be left with this good core 3.
Mm-hmm.
Same as like what we had the Tika 3 last season. It's right there. It's right there.
And if Sabai can get her vote back, that's key. She and Sean can be like, okay, if Emily survives the shot in the dark, we'll take out Caleb. Cool. Sabai's got to get her vote back. If she doesn't, Sean can just go with Caleb and knock out Sabai. Should be easy. Oh, wait. Sabai is coming in here. So Sabai is going to tell Caleb, like, hey, vote Emily. Cool. Good. And let's tell her to vote for each other. Which I do kind of like this.
Oh, no. I really liked it because of what we got following this from the conversation between Emily and Caleb.
Because normally, like, decoy vote, like, that could get you in hot water. Like, if you say, okay, we're voting out Josh tonight, but we're going to tell him we're voting out Derek. And I say this to Derek's face, well, you get pissed and you turn it around and you vote me out. That we've seen it a bunch of times happen.
Mm-hmm.
But what Sabaya's going to say is, all right, Caleb, you tell Emily you're voting for me, and I'll tell him I'm voting for you. So that way it's like mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, he said, she said, but no one's actually watching the sleight of hand happening with the magician's assistant.
Yep. And I'm like, okay, no, this is still good if you're going for Emily, but they're not going for Emily because Sabaya wants to take out Caleb, which is just insane.
And by the way, the reason Sabaya is so confident is because she has the tribe's idol.
Yep.
So Emily, I mean, unless there's something crazy going on, Emily has nothing.
Yep.
So she feels like, oh, this is an easy way to play this off. This is about as close to a slam dunk in Survivor as you can get if you're going for Emily.
If you're going for Emily. That's the key.
Well, and I actually think like this scenario that Sabaya basically just like built up is, I don't know if it was like intentionally genius, but it works so well for their situation. Yes, they should be going for Emily. Mm-hmm. Let's, put that there. But with the way that this conversation went down between her and Caleb, once Emily does end up going to Caleb, if she wants to try to turn on Sabaya, there's no reason why Caleb should believe her.
Yeah, they must have had a stronger bond. Because what's going to happen is Sabaya, her plan is she wants to get the idol in the fire at Tribal Council to melt it. Steve Holtz, I was right.
And we called this. We called this 100 times out of 100 last week.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think you said hold it above like your torch at Tribal.
Sure. Either one.
Which I think would have, in hindsight, would have taken a lot longer.
I think Ryan said torch, and then I think collectively we amended it to like, just go throw it in the big fire.
Whatever one.
Yeah.
Put it in the fire.
Yes,
go at Tribal Council.
Have a cookout, like Jeff said.
So I'm like, okay, great, that's fun because she wants her vote back. But like, she tells Emily about this because she's gonna vote out Caleb instead. No. And Emily's like, okay, Sabaya was keeping this hidden from me. I trust her less now. I want to save Caleb. So she's going to go tell Caleb what's happening. Like, Sabaya's coming for you. And so, like, the big question mark is, does Caleb buy it? Because, yeah, Sabaya said she was going to tell Emily to vote for Caleb. Genius. But somehow Emily and Caleb are close enough that Caleb is going to believe what Emily says.
And let's just talk about Emily, because we can talk about what's best for the most number of people for a second, but let's just focus on Emily. If she goes through with this plan, and she votes for Caleb, and everyone votes for Caleb, and Sabaya now has an idol good until the merge, do they have enough trust with her then to maybe have it be Sabaya and Emily,
No.
or Sean and Emily, or is Emily still number 3?
She's 3.
I don't think this moves her up the pecking order. So I think you have to try and go to Caleb so that you end up as at least number 2 in a go forward Matt Singh trio situation, because then Sean's caught with his pants down, not just Basile in this episode. Sabaya's gone home, and Caleb absolutely trusts you.
Yep. Emily might be number 1 now on this tribe.
It's possible. It is absolutely possible
Because
that she's...
Sean tried to take out Caleb, didn't try and take out Emily.
Yeah.
So Emily might be number 1 out of nowhere.
Yeah, this is a no-brainer move for Emily. And we've seen that Caleb is just such a big threat that if you're an Emily, she's like, yeah, we can deal with this at a later point. If it's just like me and Caleb, down the line, he'll probably get taken out.
Well, and I just wanted to take the flip side for a second. So if Emily does, like, let's say this doesn't work, Caleb goes home anyway because he doesn't vote for Sabaya, and Emily is caught voting for Sabaya. Again, she was already 3. So I just wanted to finish that chain of thought, to say, like, Emily absolutely needs to tell Caleb about this.
This is a great move for Emily. So, Tribal Council, Sabaya starts melting the idol, which is hilarious. We're having a cookout.
She's rotating it like you do. Nice even cooking.
Grill Master Sabaya. and so we keep, like, talking, but then we come back to her, like, doing stuff with the idol. But what is going to end up happening is it melts. She gets her little thing with a note in it. But she's going to go up to vote, and basically she reads it. It's the same rules.
I'll say, and she doesn't open it at Tribal or like while sitting down.
She opens it in the voting booth, and basically it's the same rules as the Reba idol, where she gets this is only good for one Tribal Council unless you sacrifice your vote. She had the tool to save herself. But she's going to end up sacrificing her vote. But Caleb and Emily came together. 2 votes for Sabaya, 1 vote for Caleb, and my next note is LOL, blah. Just LOL for a long time. Hilarious.
Oh, man.
Hysterically funny. We were laughing so hard after this episode ended.
So, remember earlier when we said Admiral Akbar, it's a trap, or a Mad Max, that's bait?
It's bait.
This is exactly why the Castaway Consultants have said, if you have a public advantage, just burn it first opportunity. If Sabaya just burns it first opportunity here, guess who goes home? Caleb. And guess what? Yeah, you might be down an idol, but ultimately no worse for the wear, because now there are no secrets and there's no target on your back. Listen, everybody, listen to this podcast so everyone plays perfectly. Actually, probably don't tell anybody so that you can win Survivor. We've been right for years.
Yeah, she should have played this. It sucks to go through all that work just to be like, you can play this now unless you sacrifice your vote. That sucks.
That's the beauty of that. I think that's why I like it so much, is you put so much work and risked a lot because, it's getting so public at this point, literally burning it and getting it in front of everybody here at Tribal Council. And it's so tricky for her just because there's no reason why she thinks that she should be going home right now. It makes complete sense for Emily to go along with you and Sean to take out Caleb in your eyes. Now, you should still burn it.
Yep. Because this is such a dangerous situation, just play the idol.
Yeah, well, and we're down to 4 people.
And this is where, so Sabaya in her exit interview is going to say, like, well, she's going to very Jean Robert herself. I'm a big threat. This is a flattering moment. If you would have thought about the game for 1 second from Emily's perspective, you would have known that she at least tried to flip Caleb, and you should burn this anyway.
Yeah, Sabaya was really trying to play, like, 4D chess, but, like, we weren't playing 4D chess.
We were playing Survivor.
Yeah. So that's not how it works. It was great. It was hilarious. Excellent downfall. She did it to herself. Everyone needs to listen to us. It's all a trap. Everything is a trap. Survivor producers are not your friends.
And if you stop stepping in the traps, they will get rid of them because all it's doing is getting in the way of good TV. But today we were very entertained.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to give a shout out to Blake on Twitter. It wasn't really a question, but he did say, with only 4 people left, shouldn't you play the idol no matter what? Yeah, it would be nice to have at the merge or at Final 5, but you have to get there first.
Exactly.
Or just listen to us. Doesn't matter if there's 6, 5, 4, 3, or 2 of you left.
Everyone knows, play it.
Burn it.
At the very least, bluff that you're going to play it. Maybe pull the Malcolm. Like, you could maybe get away with that, but in this situation, play it.
Sure.
Especially when it's one of these ones where you lose the power if you don't play it, or you sacrifice your wills. Just play it. You can find another one. It'll take a while, but you can find another one.
Imagine having to do a lot of work in Survivor for a little payoff every now and again.
But no, the wrong person went home. This should have been Emily. Sabaya screwed herself out of this. If everyone played the right way, Emily would have gone home.
Given the circumstances that have been laid at our feet, though, for the people who are left in the game, the right person did go home. But for the people who were there, it should have been Emily.
Yep.
But as soon as Sabaya went AWOL and decided that Caleb needed to go, and Sean was all over this is really bad from Sean.
Yeah, Sean is
we're letting him get off scot-free because he didn't go home and he didn't get a vote so far. No, this is bad for Sean
Very
too.
bad for Sean.
He's
third.
Yeah, and now he's at the bottom. So I agree. At the beginning of this episode, it should have been Emily.
Yep.
But by the end, it had to be Sabaya.
Yeah, Emily and Caleb turning on Sabaya was the right move. Sabaya made the wrong decision, and Sean went along with it. But if they had done the right move, Emily would be either gone or have shot at her darker way to safety.
Yep.
Yes.
So that's the point. Wrong person went home. What does Twitter have to say about that?
Yeah, and this is where, we don't have the context of how you are actually looking at the vote, but we did get a good, nice, healthy 76% of Twitter saying that, yes, the right person went home.
I mean, if you dig your own grave, lay down, and there's a bulldozer nearby.
Who are we to say otherwise? Yeah, the context is important there. It's like if at Tribal Council, the right thing happened at that point. But if you take the whole episode into context, the wrong thing happens.
Yeah, the Castaway Consultants are committed to what happened last week and then rolling over into this week, whereas the players and Twitter, I think, are very much based on what happened here.
Yeah,
they're going second by second. When in the final second did the right thing happen, and we take it an episode at a time. Best player of the episode, worst player of the episode,
and also assuming everyone plays right.
Yes. Speaking of best player and worst player, why don't we get into that? Oof. Derek, kick us off. Who's the best player of the episode?
It's Emily. She didn't go on the camp raid, which apparently is a thing you need to worry about. She built up a good enough rapport with Caleb that he trusted her, and now she's 1 or 2 on the tribe. She built up enough trust with Sabaya and Sean to bring her in on the plan so that she could have this no-lose situation for her where the only possible solution is coming out higher or being no worse off. That is a hedged bet from beginning to end. So I do have an honorable mention for Dee and Julia for what happened over on Reba. But I mean, talk about zero to hero. Emily.
Josh.
Yeah, it's Emily. I don't think I really need to add on anything to it, but I would like to give an honorable mention to Dee here. She just had handled that entire situation over on Reba, especially with the idol and, things that she could have done but decided not to do. I just wanted to give her that shout out.
I agree completely with everything you guys said, both with Emily winning and then your honorable mentions as well. Couldn't have said it better. How about worst player, Josh?
I gave it to Drew.
Okay.
It really just goes kind of the flip side of what happened with Dee. I think that between, especially between him and Austin, I think that he handled that entire situation worse. Yeah, you could probably make a case for someone like Sean here just because he's left in such a bad situation, but I think this was gonna end up happening no matter what, regardless of what he ended up doing. He could have flipped it himself, but I don't know. I know you guys don't agree with me.
the video's got evidence, Ryan. We're staring at each other just a little bit
and shook our head. No, Josh is right.
It's Josh. He's spelling out exactly why he's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying I understand why, but I think that there was a lot of trust that was lost over on Reba when it comes to Drew and the girls in his alliance.
I'll gladly give a dishonorable mention to Drew, but it's Sean. He could have stopped this train from crashing. He had the ability to try and talk Sabaya out of this. Didn't do it. Ended up on the wrong side of the vote. Out of the numbers. And, unless the tribe swap happens next week, he's probably next. So Sean is my worst player of the episode.
Yeah, it's Sean. The second Sabaya goes AWOL, I think it's really easy for Sean, especially where he's at in that core 3 as it stands at the beginning of the episode, to go to Caleb and pull Emily aside and say, what if we just vote her out really quickly at Tribal Council before the wax melts? I don't want to deal with this. Let's just get this out of the game. And then can you pull the idol from the fire afterward?
I don't think.
So, I think, as far as I understand, the official rules is if Sabaya wants to filibuster, she can. you can basically force Traub to go on as long as you want.
I'll say, because doesn't Jeff say that basically, like, you guys are the ones who
Your
decide?
tribal. You know, Jeff will say, oh, it's time to vote when he thinks it's like time to wrap up. And if someone wants to keep going, like we saw with Heather in 41, they can keep filibustering. So Sabaya absolutely filibustered until the idol melted.
So I think about the fun way to do things, but realistically then fine. Just let Sabaya think that she's having her way and just vote her out. And don't lose that trust with Caleb. And that at least keeps Emily at 3 and you at 2. If Sabaya's going to play bad, let her play bad on her own.
Yep. He either could have let Sabaya go or he could have talked her out of it and taken out Caleb. Or not, sorry, and taken out Emily. He could have done either of those things. He didn't do either one and he chose the worst path. So Sean's the worst player. Dishonorable mention to Drew.
Yeah, it's Sean. Yep. I did give a dishonorable mention to Basile.
Not Drew, though.
No, not Drew.
Okay, so this is where we normally do who's going next, but we saw there's a tribe swap going next week. Who knows who's going to end up where, blah, 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 blah. So what we're going to do instead of one person from each tribe, we don't even know how many tribes there's going to be. Could be 2, 3, I don't know.
4.
Oh my gosh, that'd be wild. 5. 15 individual tribes of 1.
Sure.
Naked and afraid.
So what we're going to do is we just can name one person who we think's going next. Derek, kick us off.
I was just looking for someone who's had a pretty tiny edit that is just based on editology likely to get swap screwed. I landed on Sifu. I can't give you any other reason other than Reba hasn't lost a member yet, so they might be looking as a collective to get rid of either a Bello or a Reba. Could just as well be a Bello, but I landed on Sifu.
Yeah, it feels like a Lulu's going to be safe here. For those, I think it's just going to be someone from one of the other 2 tribes just because they're fully intact. I'm just throwing a dart at Bruce here. It seems like an easy option. Like, hey, I don't like the reasoning of it, and I feel like they talk about it too much. But hey, get the guy who's played once already. Why not?
I agree with Josh. I think it's going to be Bruce. You know, it just seems like there's enough people who kind of speak negatively about him. That like he could be like, all right, let's just let him go. And something you pointed out, Derek, if Lulu and Reba come together and make like, hey, let's take out Bello. If I pick a Bello person, I'm picking Bruce. So I land on Bruce.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't even take that into consideration when I made my pick. I'm going to flop it on the fly because I think that the edit gave us a payoff between a Reba Lulu understanding, and I'm going to swap to Jake because he was still kind of at my bottom, and in a swap, Kendra can't protect him. And he's a lawyer, and he's a young lawyer. So I just, there are too many lawyers left in this season. Someone's got to go. So,
yeah, do we still have all 3 lawyers? I believe so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do it live.
Dude.
I'm saying Jake.
Derek, okay. Picture this.
Don't say it.
Final 3 lawyers.
Don't say it.
Final 3. Julie, Jake, and Katsuro. Final 3.
The world
Could be possible.
explodes.
It's 100%.
I have no idea how we get there.
That's
But it's possible.
That's a low amplitude collapsing of that wave function, man.
For those of you who are just listening to the audio, Derek's face when he knew what I was going to say, it was just pain.
I already knew.
I knew what you were going to say, and I was just
already
here
knew.
for
It
it.
was just Derek's expression was wonderful. Next question: who can't win this game? Josh, who can't win the game?
I'm just going to stick with Bruce. I don't really have, kind of the same as last week. I didn't really have that much of a great reason. I still don't.
Yeah, I had Emily last week. I am going to switch to Bruce. We got Bruce was barely in the episode, but during the immunity challenge, he's kind of barking orders, and we got literally people saying like, "God, Bruce is annoying." So he just seems to be the least liked person in the game right now. So Bruce.
Do you know what's wild? I actually had a hard time because I have 3 people that,
Really?
based on edit,
Oh.
I don't think can win the game.
Okay.
And because there's no horrible players that we've seen that are left that are doing like nothing, right? Based on edit, I think Sifu can't win. Based on edit, I think Sean... Actually, I think Sean's bad gameplay this episode illustrates that he's not going to have the strategic chops to make it to the end and get votes. And Jake was still my other one. But that's just based on edit. I'm going with Sifu. I think Sifu cannot win the game. Until I see something more in the edit, I just think that he's going to be some fodder for some twist.
I think that's looking into edit a little bit too much for the pre-merge, just because of like how many people we've seen just kind of break through after not having too much going on here in the early episodes, especially since Lulu's been the only one to go to tribal council. But I understand.
Yeah, Sifu's been shockingly quiet.
For a guy who got caught spy shacking in episode 1, digging for idols,
He had such a strong premiere.
and being kind of a lunatic. Well, strong in terms of like screen time.
Sorry. That's what I strictly mean screen time.
But he got painted as the Tony, and he's disappeared. If Tony disappears, it's because he's not long for the world, or he's
currently hiding in the spy chat.
He's like a mergatory boot or something like that. But until I see more, I can't tell you someone is so bad.
Or a swap screw.
Until you see Fu. See more.
Yes, I need to see more Sifu.
Until we see Woo.
So what did he say? Stealth mode or whatever?
Yeah, it has to go stealth ninja.
Yeah. All right. Last thing we got to do is we got to check in on our survivor pool. I had Drew.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still alive.
Yep. Derek also had Drew. And I had Brando.
So we're all still here.
Yep.
New picks for everybody. We cannot pick the same people that we have already picked. I have picked Katura and Drew now. So my new pick, because he now has an idol, is Austin. And especially because we're going into a swap, I have no idea what's going to happen. So idol, Austin.
I have Austin for the exact same reason. So sorry for following you on this one. But yeah, tribe swap. Give me the guy with the hardware.
I understand. It makes sense. I'm going with someone who I just would be shocked to go home here, just purely based on what we've seen from the edit. And that's D.
Okay. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully D goes out and Josh gets taken down. It'll be hilarious.
I would be sad.
But if Austin goes out here, Josh wins.
Game over, baby.
What a great strategy.
So we will see what happens. But that's it for this episode. A lot of it was spent looking for idols, so we got through it a little bit faster than normal, I feel like.
Hey, at least I had a payoff.
Yep. Social media?
Yeah, you can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Castaway Pod. You can also follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook, which is Castaway Consultants. We post all of our videos and whatnot there, maybe even a clip or two about Ryan and Derek arguing. That was the nice one that I posted this week. I hope you enjoyed. And then we also have a website, which is the Castaway Consultants, where we post our episodes as well, and it can be a little bit easier to search on there.
And, we post a couple of things in there. Do we post our rank downs on there?
Yep. Not on the website, but like blogs,
Okay.
Stuff like that. Ryan likes to do little analysis too.
Yep, I write a blog every week on the episode, so if you want to see a written version where I go a little bit more in-depth on each individual player, you can check that out.
Yeah, with no offsetting personalities to keep him on track.
Yeah, and
But
Ryan,
yes,
and
it's
Ryan,
a lovely blog.
Ryan mentioned the write-downs. I know I mentioned that last week, but we do post those, especially on Twitter and Instagram. Not a great week for me compared to you two.
Hey, you know what? It's okay.
What do you mean, no offsetting personality? What's wrong with my blog?
The problem with your blog is that it's not a problem. It's just it's only your perspective. The podcast gives you 3 different people with 3 different perspectives.
So the way you describe my blog makes it sound like a strength. Like it's only my perspective. That just makes it sound like a more thoughtful and well articulated.
Derek, you are completely free to write your own breakdown.
You're well. Here's the thing. That's why I say, go check out Ryan's stuff, but come back and listen to the podcast so me and Josh can round out the corners a little bit.
Even though Josh was kind of the odd man out this week a little bit more than it wasn't really you and me fighting this time. It was you and me telling Josh he was wrong a little bit.
We were the unexpected duo.
Yeah, unexpected team up.
But as always, on the Spotify side of things, I'll post either a question or 2. Last week, I posted who was right in the fight between me and Ryan, which was obviously talking about the Emily versus Brandon.
I haven't looked at this yet.
100% of the votes went to one person, and that person was Derek.
Well,
the people agree with me. Our listeners are among the most Survivor educated in existence, and they picked me.
Look, all I could say is you guys were all proven wrong with this episode.
No, we weren't.
You absolutely were. If they had kept Brandon in the game, I think Sabaya would still be here.
No, because Brandon would have done the same thing that Emily did. He would have had nothing to lose.
I honestly don't.
I think Caleb would be going home. I think Caleb would be going home if Brandon was still in the game.
Point is, I was right.
That doesn't make any sense.
I think this is the perfect time to wrap things up.
Anyway, so go check out the new question. I'll see if I can find another one that's episode specific like that, because I had a lot of fun with that.
All right, we'll see what happens with the swap next week. It's going to be exciting. In the meantime, this has been the Castaway Consultants.
Got nothing else for you.
Good night.